For my school sculpture project, I decided I'll be making a miniature from Warhammer 40k. This is a tabletop game where you put together and paint up armies to fight each other. My first step is assorting the little plastic pieces I'll use for this model, as I'll be constructing what is called a Khorne Berserker. And no, not that kind of Khorne, this kind. So I got all my pieces assorted. The pieces I'm using are unfortunately from a set over 20 years old, but it's all I really got. And I'm basing this figure off the artwork found in the 2nd edition Chaos Space Marines Codex from 1995. I absolutely love this artwork of a berserker standing on a bunch of skulls as depicted by Mark Gibbons. Yes, that is a chainsaw sword, called a chain sword. Here's a huge one in action. And yes, that is a huge fist called a power fist. Here's a slideshow presenting the best weapon of all time. I had a power fist bit that I'd have to cut up and curl the fingers. Now onto cutting, where I get everything cleaned up and I switch out the pieces. To customize my model, I'll be using green stuff, which is like a modeling putty. It comes in 2 pieces of blue and yellow stuff. You combine them to get green stuff. Just water your hands and get to mixing. And there you go, green stuff. I just let it sit for about 20 minutes before coming back to it. So here's the head with tubes on it, sculpted from green stuff, for example. My gluing process is just me putting pieces I cut apart and putting them back together in a pose. As you can see, my power fist is going to be the hardest part of this project, as nothing fits at all for the pose I want. So here's a lot of the model put together. For the right arm, I put down a placeholder shoulder for the power fist, which took me way longer to make than it should have. Here's the full figure put together. I had to model the power fist knuckles, which also took me a long time. This is my 2nd time using green stuff, so I'm pretty happy with the results. I'll start working on the base of the model now, where I take some cork and stacked it to get a rocky surface. I'm gonna glue down some skulls like in the artwork for him to stand on menacingly. I get some fine sand for the base, and I sprinkle some on top of Elmer's glue. Now that the base is done, it's time for me to prime the model. I'll be painting my model in the color scheme of the Iron Warriors Legion, the Sons of Perturabo. In one of my favorite books, Storm of Iron, there was some Iron Warrior Khorne Berserkers at the start who died almost instantly, so it'd be cool to add some to my army. Anyways, I'll start with a base coat of Lead Belcher. Iron Warriors usually have hazard stripes on them, so I'll be putting on 2 thin coats of Averland Sunset. Skipping all the other base colors of flesh tones, blacks, browns, and golds, I put on a general wash of Agrax's Earthshade to settle in all the recesses. After this, I highlight the colors. Here I use Gehenna's Gold, for example. Final highlights are now done, so it's on to the base. I start on the dirt with Mornfang Brown. I use Storm Vermin Fur on the rocks. I washed the base heavily with Agrax Earthshade, just straight out of the pot. Mixing 50-50 Averland Sunset and Steel Legion Drab, I get a nice yellowish dry brush. To top the base off, I glue on Static Grass and Tufts. It was hard to glue that down. I then paint the rim of the base with 2 thin coats of Steel Legion Drab, finishing the model. And there you go! My Iron Warrior Khorne Berserker is tabletop ready and totally customized.
Blood for the Blood God! Blood for the Blood God! Blood for the Blood God! Blood for the Blood